This is a pretty major local news update from Thornton Cleveleys on the Fylde Coast, where industrial giant AGC Chemicals Europe has just announced a proposal that puts around 200 local jobs at risk at its Thornton Cleveleys plant on the Hillhouse Technology Enterprise Zone, which used to be what we all call ICI. The company has launched a 45-day consultation period with staff and trade unions to discuss a plan to completely cease manufacturing operations by the end of 2026. Management has pointed to severe financial and operational challenges, citing 4 consecutive years of substantial losses that are simply no longer sustainable in a volatile global market. This massive commercial blow comes right in the middle of a major multi-agency investigation by Wyre Council and the Environment Agency into historic contamination from forever chemicals, specifically PFOA, which was used in the manufacturing of Teflon and other things like that. It was used at the site for decades before being phased out in 2012. So people like myself grew up in the cloud of this stuff raining down on us all the time, breathing it in while we were sleeping. I lived 300 yards from the chimney. We've already seen local sites like the Occupation Road allotments, formerly designated as contaminated land earlier this year, alongside warnings about local produce and indeed poultry that's been brought up on the Fylde Coast. While recent public health assessments found no evidence of a kidney cancer cluster linked to the area, tension remains high as lawyers investigate potential community legal claims. That's something that I'm going to go and look into this week. Somebody's reached out to me to speak to me about that potential kidney cancer thing. I did address a post about this there's a group about this, and I believe it's going to be impossible to prove the primary cause, but it's these forever chemicals. It's the silent secret that nobody's been talking about, and it's all throughout us. We are literally riddled. We're already riddled with them. For its part, AGC has stressed that this closure is currently just a proposal, and that even if production stopped entirely, they will keep the necessary staffing and monitoring on site to fully meet all of their environmental permits and clean-up responsibilities. It is a deeply, deeply worrying time for hundreds of local families that work on the site, and it's a significant shift for the industrial landscape of Thornton and indeed the wider Fylde Coast. Traditionally, thousands of people worked on that site at ICI. There is a potential that former workers have suffered ill health because of conditions there. And then anybody like myself who grew up in the shadow of that factory, I mean, it's a 4-mile long site. It's not little. It's all the way from Fleetwood to the back end of Thornton. This is gravely concerning for anybody who's a resident near Thornton and even in over Wyre as well, Hambleton and places like that. So I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on it. If there are any residents, people that I know, friends of my family, who've got former relatives who've worked at the ICI factory or any of the previous ones, and I've got a friend there that works there. In fact, there's 2 or 3 that I know of that work there at the minute. So if you're watching this, I'm terribly, terribly sorry to hear about your terrible bad news. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I know. Yeah, it's a terrible situation, and I think the Fylde Coast itself is suffering from an overall lack of jobs. So seeing a large manufacturer and employer like this potentially going elsewhere, it's just foreboding. It's bad news. Thanks for watching the video. You can catch me on my new channel, which is called Kushti. There's links all over my Facebook profile. You can go and find that there. There's a YouTube channel as well. And if you are indeed affected by this living in the shadow of ICI, feel free to reach out to me here, or if you prefer, you can send an email to newsdesk at blackpoolnews.uk. Have a good day.